welcome to In Progress. And looking up your history, and
Mhm.
I'm like, that Real Yoga, really cool, former UCLA gymnast
Mhm.
and Circus del Sol. And I mean, you have you're not just some yoga studio. Oh, hey, we just
Yeah.
stretch and breathe.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit of your, I mean, not to seem too hero like, but a little bit of your origin story. Where did the path take you that brought you here?
It's a pretty wild path. I never would imagine. I grew up in Oregon and I was a gymnast. My mother wanted me to be a ballerina, but I was that classic meme that you see the young girl ballerina that's hanging by her knees on the ballet bar instead of practicing like normal. So it was a way to kind of get my energy out. And at first, it was just absolutely for fun. And I became good. And I grew up in a little farm in Oregon. It was a rough life. It was 11, I got asked to go onto the national team to train and move away. And back in my day, that was kind of common for athletes to move away to the training center to become Olympians. And so I left home at 11 and continued gymnastics. It was still fun, but it became my job at 11 and I kind of found it as a way out. At a very young age, I realized that it gave me opportunity and potential to maybe not have to live on the farm and I could maybe go do other things. So I got to travel and tour and compete all over the world. And I ended up getting a full ride scholarship for gymnastics to UCLA, which was a huge turning point for me. Just California, first off, being at the best gymnastics program in the world. And my family didn't grow up educated. So I really didn't even know that UCLA was an incredible university for education in and of itself. It was just the best gymnastics program. So from there, it gave me a lot of opportunities, more than just education, incredible mentors. And the coach was a female coach that really shifted my perspective on life and learning and loving and mentored me in a way that really awakened me to more than love myself, but also to compete with myself and to go after my dreams and know that anything was possible. And also to take any of my childhood issues or trauma from gymnastics in a way of, I obviously was strong enough to make it through. So now it's important for me to be of service, to help others, make sure people don't go through that trauma, and really kind of put me in this mindset of giving back and serving and learning to be of better service. And while I was a gymnast there, I studied how to be a personal trainer. I actually was a personal trainer to other Olympians and a lot of the Hollywood moms that had private gyms. And I also got to see my first Cirque du Soleil show, which was just so inspiring. This was in the early 90s, and it just awakened me to, instead of competing, there was this whole other avenue of performing where it just seemed more fun and more me. I didn't really like competing. I always felt bad competing against my teammates, especially. And one of the other techniques that was brought in at UCLA in the early 90s was yoga. It was just coming out in California and she had.
Yes, the hippie yogas.
Yes. And so I got trained in yoga, and that was weird at first. Like it just was like breathing and, stretching, and it seemed kind of easy, but it felt good on my body. It felt good on my mind. It just invigorated me while calming me down. And it also helped some of my mild injuries. And so I ended up becoming a yoga teacher too. So by the time I graduated UCLA, having my degree, I was also a personal trainer and a certified yoga teacher, and dreamt of running away with the circus. So I,
Well,
yeah,
Circus Soleil, I mean, who
yeah.
wouldn't want to run away with them?
And so I went to New York City and I was on Broadway and off Broadway and continued to pursue my passions and got into a show there where I was performing and ended up touring the world with that show. And while in that show, I was lucky that the director of Cirque du Soleil at that time, Franco Dragone, found me and recruited me to do the research development and creation for for his new show called Le Rêve at the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas. And so I
It's-
finally got to run away with the circus. But had to move to Vegas, so that was different.
there's worse places on the world.
Yeah, it just, I felt like everything that I did in life, as long as I continued to pursue my dreams and work hard and learn and keep growing and be open to learning, even if I was already a teacher, like continuing to be the student, finding things that inspired me or challenged me or scared me or go out of my comfort zone. That when I followed that path, it always continued to lead into the next thing that I either knew I wanted or I didn't know I wanted, but I needed. And it's kind of just evolved from there. And I continued to create and choreograph. I ended up working with choreography. I choreographed Beyonce's world tour, the Formation Tour. I've gotten to work with amazing stars and pop stars. I've also got to choreograph our local, talent show at the grade school. So kind of at like all levels of it.
You work with hurting 5-year-old
Yeah,
kindergartners?
a little bit harder than actually doing the Formation Tour for Beyonce, but yeah, and it just continued. I continued my yoga journey of helping heal, helping and studying more about injuries and high performance athletes and physical therapy, corrective exercises, functional movement. I just loved learning new methods that could make people feel awesome physically and mentally. And then in the last 10 years, learning new methods that can help take away pain physically,
Whoa.
mentally has just been that new big passion of mine. It was when I got pregnant that, my circus apparatus, the hammock was just not attainable for me anymore. And so my husband lowered it for me so I could just sit in it. And that was 23 years ago. And that was when I created AIReal Yoga using the hammock as a prop. Just realized like, wow, just to sit in it and swing in it is good. I started to utilize it as a prop to support and make yoga accessible, to strengthen quicker, and to help take away some back pain. And so it's just evolved over the years as I continue to write the curriculum for AIReal Yoga and the Yoga Alliance and continue to develop new methods, primarily for physical therapy now.
I was kind of going the segue. I was going to go. Your AIReal Yoga, is that how you say it?
Yeah, it's when I created the brand name, the play was on, it was yoga in the air, but really yoga. And so that's why it was AIReal Yoga. It kind of sounds the same as how you spell it correctly. But there was no Google that would spell it correctly for you when you typed it in. And so we kind of have to like kind of accentuate the AIReal Yoga. But it's just a hammock. It's a silky sling that's really low to the ground and feels amazing to the body.
Very cool. So coming up with that, this is what, 2010, 2012, sometime in there. You're building out this brand coming up. Where did you first launch your AIReal Yoga studio? Where was that first launched in?
I started in 2002 developing
Mm.
how we could utilize the aerial hammock as a prop for specifically yoga, to like how you have a strap or a block or a bolster, right? And so I started developing that curriculum, and it wasn't until 2006 that I finalized the curriculum, submitted to the Yoga Alliance, and started teaching more formal classes. I was teaching individually in small groups, and then it just became huge. In 2009 is when we opened a studio and started teaching it more. And at 2011, we had to open a big studio where I had to start like full teacher trainings and franchise or licensing the brand and teaching other teachers to teach it because it just got too big. And
So were you still in New York at this time, or did you move back to California?
to Ventura, California. So in
Oh,
2011, we're in Ventura, California, a little beach town. And I opened the Aerial Studio where we had classes and began teaching other teachers how to teach it.
my grandmother lived off Telegraph Road.
You know Ventura.
I'm a SoCal kid. So you say
Wow.
Ventura. Yeah, and
That's surprising. Most people it's don't know. I'm always like, it's north of Malibu, south of Santa Barbara. Wow, super cool.
yeah, I grew up surfing County Line and not County Line, Ventura County Park right there,
Yeah.
and Oxnard strawberries. I miss those.
Aw,
But
that's
very cool.
cool. And
Are
come
you still
visit
in
us.
Ventura now? Or
We're still in Ventura. Yeah.
wow.
That's where my personal studio is. I license the brand, so there's studios around the world, but that's where my personal studio is. And we were not far from Telegraph at first in the industrial area, more like telephone and telegraph. And now we're at the Ventura Pacific View Mall.
Ooh,
Yeah, the malls are dying, and so bringing in other activities are really helping keeping them alive and making it more of an immersive space.
very cool. I'm glad to hear you're still in Ventura because I love that town. I love that area, that whole beach culture, but not like I live in Charleston, South Carolina now.
Hmm.
And we have very much like right at the beach, we have our very beach culture. But
Yeah.
it's a very different culture than Ventura. Just always loved that area. Little rural, little city, good mix of California.
Yeah, the beach culture is really special. Actually, that's why we moved here after living in New York and LA and being on tour with Cirque and traveling the world. It's just, and then I had children. I didn't feel like I could be a good parent in the bigger city. I wanted to be able to walk around. Like you come to Ventura and everyone's like walking and biking everywhere. Like the school rules when they went to this grade school, like I brought the kids to grade school. I'm like, okay, is it like 2 finger for the tank top and your skirt has to be down to like your fingers or something? They're like, okay, the dress code in Ventura at the grade school is you can't wear your wetsuit and you have to wear shoes. And I was like, you have to wear shoes? Who isn't going to wear shoes? They're like, believe me, they will be barefoot. And like, who's going to wear their wetsuit? They're like, all those kids are going to surf in the morning and just wear their wetsuits to school, but that's a rule. And like, that's kind of like summarized. It's just, there is something, it's about nature and being at the beach, for me is my happy place. It makes me feel like, gosh, the world is so big and my problems are so little. Like let it go with the wave and just go with the flow.
There's something about you paddle out, you swim out, or even just standing there, and the ocean is just huge. It's
Hmm.
powerful and it just demands your attention.
Hmm.
And on the other side, behind you, is all of your, you know what, work will be there later.
Yeah.
But in that, that's a piece.
Yeah.
But on another side, you mentioned already like gymnastics on a very high elite competitive level, UCLA gymnast.
Mhm.
Yeah, how does like that piece, but also a certain obsession with performance and getting better and improving yourself? I'm sure you don't go to UCLA without that kind of drive, without that kind of push. What was that for you growing up, touring and doing the accomplishments you've done? How would you define that obsession and performance? Or maybe not obsession, but I leave it to you.
I mean, for me, at first, I love gymnastics, but what I see now is I love the physicality of using my body. And for gymnastics, it was a skill. There's something about gymnastics, it's repetitive. And what I learned is when you do things with repetition over and over and over, and you continue to refine it, like it just gets so much easier and so much better. And that's where you see like the difference of like professional athletes is I now know if I physically want to be the best or attain something, I need to do something consistently repetitive and then continue to learn and grow every single time from it. And there has to be a drive to excel, to learn more. There has to be an excitement there with it. And with performing, it's the same thing. There has to be that first physical ability. And so you can perform these physical things safely. And there has to be that repetition so you know you're going to be safe each time while you're doing it. But then with performing, there's also this expression of the body to be able to tell story and share emotions through your movement. So for me, performing became a way of expressing myself, and performing became a way where I could actually move through some of my emotions, or whether it was traumas or issues or confusion, just kind of like let it out. That was also enjoyable for me. And the sensation of being at that professional level, you feel kind of like a superhero. I mean, first off, some of the things that you're doing are just out of this mind unreal and seem impossible. But with time and dedication and consistency, it is possible. It's a mindset. it has to be a well focused mindset, and within it there has to be the individual desire to actually be great. At first with gymnastics, I just did what my coaches said. And at some point, in order for me to be at that highest level, I had to do it for myself. I had to compete with myself in the sense of they're like, okay, do 100 push-ups. You'd be like doing them. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to cheat and just do 89. Like, yeah, I could cheat and get away with that. But then if I cheated, like I'm cheating myself. If
Yeah.
that is what is going to make me my best, I need to do 100 of them or more if I can. And so when I learned the shift in competing with yourself to become your best self, not to be anyone else's best self, I can only become the best of what I physically, emotionally, mentally can. And therefore, doing anything and everything that can help me get to that level. And at the same time, with mindfulness and respect. So there had to be this elite athlete with the yogi come in, because it's not just the Nike slogan, just do it. It's like, well, do it if it's safe and okay. And at some point, if it's now I'm hurting myself or doing too much, then that's not mindful. That's actually slowing my progress. So having to learn to compete with myself, but then also being able to balance how far and where my limitations were, and protecting myself and standing up for myself when needed
And
was
that's
really,
the mental state. That's
that's the,
where
yeah.
you went past the I'm doing this for the coaches, I'm doing this for the team, to going, this is mine and in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Something I've talked about quite a few times is the why.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we do things? That
Mm-hmm.
is so much more powerful than the coach telling you to do it, or my parents told me to do this, or this is what I'm supposed to be doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That why. And it sounded like what I'm hearing from you is there was that switch of going, I'm doing this to compete against others, to where it switched and it became, you're doing this to compete against yourself and
Yes.
how you can improve yourself each step.
Yes, for sure. And I think in the end, it ended up helping my whole entire life, as a teacher, when I'm teaching teachers to teach, like not being afraid if they're better than me. Like, I hope they're better than me. I hope I can share all my information and you learn more and you be more, you know what I mean? And be your best self. Like having a business and not being scared of, like, which many people have, they've come and mimicked what I do, but like there's room for all of us. I'm spending my time worrying about, oh, if they're better, or oh, they did, like, it's just, that's a waste. Just instead, like, if I'm competing with myself, then it gives me grace and space to be proud of everyone else, proud of you being your best self. So it allows me to lift you up and help support you. I mean, because it is in the mind. Like, we can scare the crap out of ourselves by
Yeah.
thinking negative thoughts. Like, everything we feel is a direct result of what we're thinking. So, like, we need to change how we are thinking, and putting the mode of thinking that this is my choice to be my best self. And I want to do this because I want to do this, and compete to be the best I desire to be, is going to help. If then I need to talk positive about myself, I need to think positive about myself. I need to not think negative about other people. I need to actually hope that they are also doing wonderful things, because being surrounded by people that are all just excited and working hard and happy and loving, what they're doing is really energizing. Being around other people who are like, oh, you're better in your game. It doesn't help. You want others to be in that same mindset together. And it's,
So
it feeds off of you.
on that mindset, and you already mentioned a little bit about teaching the teachers to teach. When you have, I mean, at this point, you have had coach, or you've been the coach, you've had coaches, you've trained teachers, you've gone through the whole scale of what it could be. How do you help the students or the teachers to be able to teach the students to go past that, I got to beat so and so over there, they're better than me, they're the ones who I got to beat, and start going, well, no, look at yourself. How do you change How do you teach someone or lead them to make that mind shift?
Good question. I have to be very creative as everyone is different. Although I already have like assumptions. If I have a group of 10, I know there's going to be different types, you know what I mean? And I'm ready for them. And I can kind of like pick them out right away of, okay, you're very competitive. You're fearful. Okay. Your ego is way in ahead of you. You know what I mean? And that's okay because we're all at different stages of growth. But when I'm teaching teacher trainings, yes, I need to teach them how to physically do things and how to teach it and how to cue. And that's wonderful. But my first focus is on just teaching methodology and about talking about how there are different people and different ways to learn and different things that are holding people back. And I try to talk about a lot of different personality types to see if that might awaken some people to who they are. Rather than telling them, I always feel like if I just tell them how they are and they need to change this, it's not very effective. But if I can educate and show and shine light on a personality, maybe like what, let's say someone that their ego, they just want to look perfect and beautiful in it and they don't care about their alignment or anything. It's like I have to talk about like there are some students like that and I have to give examples, or I have to show how having, if I were to do this pose but then I just had this ego like this and do this, I could be injuring myself. And then as a teacher, if I'm injuring my students, I'm potentially hurting them. And because yoga is only safe if it's done correctly. It's not about what it looks like. So I try to create experiences in a creative way that can allow them to have their own aha moment of, ooh, maybe that lives inside me.
I,
And typically they have that aha moment. And if they have that aha moment, they are more likely open and willing to change rather than me telling them what's going on.
and I was just going to echo that from you and going that how many people can you tell, hey, you need to change this or do that versus leading them to discover
Yeah.
that. I think any teacher at anything loves when their students have that aha moment. I understand. That makes sense. Coming from an engineering background, the system works. Eureka. Or the look at the beautiful painting that they finally figured out to do. Or for you, the pose, the technique.
Mhm.
And that aha moment is, as a teacher, I think incredibly valuable. So
Yeah.
cultivating your students to pursue that,
Yes.
change in their own mind, that's a very powerful idea.
And they'll probably remember it more because they had their own aha moment. And it's really important too that the teachers are realizing that they're there to share and support. They're not there to force anything upon anyone. They're, in my opinion, for yoga, when you're coming, it's the student having an opportunity for self-awareness and self-realization so they can have their own self-healing. Like we don't know what it feels like in every single person's body. And ultimately, the more that we can teach them to learn about themselves, the easier it can be for them to heal their body or mind. And so for us as a teacher to share our knowledge openly without competition, just share it and see if it can resonate with people. And so every pose for them should be an opportunity to feel something or learn something, or a clue to them as where they are, where they're at. So then they can grow into their own self-healing, and is kind of how I think of it. And I teach yoga very differently. I mean, I integrate foundational training and functional movement. I mean, I think there's a lot of yoga classes out there. They're like, let's just all get hot and okay, do your pose or whatever. And like, yeah, but like when you are doing it fast or in a heated room and you don't know how to do the pose correctly, you could be damaging your body. And our muscles have memory. So when you do the pose incorrectly for your body, the muscles are memorizing that improper alignment that can have a huge effect and cause cause a lot of pain. And everyone should look completely different in that yoga pose depending on their body. And so a teacher really needs to be able to cue in a way where they can verbalize this physical movement in a way so everyone can modify to be in the correct place for themselves, or be able to spot people. I specialize in hypermobility. Like the way I teach someone with hypermobile joints is very different than the way I teach someone that's tight. I mean, ultimately a yoga class, if you are, people come, oh, I'm not strong or flexible. I'm like, okay, if you're not flexible, you can do a yoga class. Then it's so
Yeah.
much easier on me as a teacher. If you have a ton of flexibility, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to cue you a lot. I'm going to have to be really concentrating on you, and your ego is probably already in it. So now I'm going to have to work on taking that away. So it's a whole different game, but it's
So
individualized. It's like less is more, super, super simple. Less is more, but doing it correctly for you is so, so important.
I appreciate you keep coming back to fundamentals for you,
Mm-hmm.
fundamentals for yourself. You've worked high-end gymnastics, Cirque du Soleil, these choreographing these different dances, routines, whatever they may be. But then also you said you've worked with very high-end celebrity clients. And I'm also hearing a little bit that not only these high achievers, go-getters, these absolute like I'm killing it kind of people, but also I can't really reach behind my back that well. How am I going to do yoga? And I like that you are not saying, oh, across the board, you got to be able to do this or this. It's all about what you're capable of doing. So
Mm-hmm.
meeting you where you are at right now.
And that's what the yoga teacher needs to do. They need to meet each student exactly where they are. Like, and no matter what their history is, whatever, it doesn't matter. They showed up in this moment and creating something for them that is going to be accessible and specific for them, and make them feel a bit successful of like, okay, then like let's just do this and see how that feels, and breathe there and move there. And if we have consistency, things can shift and change. And it's like, I guess it's like with no judgment, no attachment, just being completely in the moment. And the most important thing is if you both showed up, the teacher and the student, and honor that. And without judgment, really just try to create an enjoyable experience that can make them feel like there's hope, right? In whatever they want, whether it is to reset the nervous system, to calm down, to reduce pain, to gain mobility, because you could always find the way. I mean, I've worked with the highest level athletes, and yes, the highest celebrities, to the most injured in wheelchair with Parkinson's, or can barely walk, or have cancer, have diseases. And like, there is always something that we can do, and starting meeting where they are and finding a way forward and a path forward to help support them in their process.
So I hear you say words like showing up, being there, and
Mm-hmm.
consistency.
Mm-hmm.
With my own journey, with all of these amazing interviews that I've been able to do building this podcast, so much I hear how many people struggle with I'm going to just show up
Yeah.
and be there. And today I might have 50%, but you know what? I gave that 50% today. Tomorrow I might do more.
Mm-hmm. I think
I,
that's one of the biggest things. If you are a teacher, a yoga teacher, whatever, and when a client walks in my studio, I celebrate them. I know that there could have been like a lot of things they could have done. You know what I mean? It's like, or they're tired, or they had to pay a whole bunch of money to the babysitter so they could just be here, or they're scared that they're going to suck and not be good, but they ended up getting out of their comfort zone and doing it, or they had to skip having lunch with their friend. Who knows? Like, there's always, like, to show up, I know that there are things that they are going through. Like, everyone has their own story, so celebrate those that do show up, and then realize that there could be a lot of things that could be holding them back, even from feeling safe in a practice. So then creating a space that does make them feel safe and seen. And because you're then now being vulnerable to be a learner. So like, am I supposed to be good at it or I suck? And then you're going to look at me funny, whatever, like creating that environment where you can be here at any level, however you are, where and be who you are. And that is great. And I celebrate that you are here. And I am going to create something that is going to be at your level and also giving you individual attention. So I see you and where you're at and I support you and proud that you have taken this choice. We could just all be at home doing it on our own, but some of us don't know how to do it. So we need a
Yeah.
teacher. And some of us need to be with other people to like inspire us. And in yoga, we come for our own practice, but ultimately together we do lift each other up. And even if you're tired as a teacher, like you see people show up, it's like, oh, it awakens you. Or if you help someone, it's like for me, if I get to help someone, that is a great gift. Where some people be like, oh my God, thank you so much for taking away my pain. I'm like, thank you for letting me take away your pain. Like it's a gift to be of help. It's such an honor.
So I got to ask, do those kind of moments help you continue to grow your business? Because I'm sure 10 years of running a business, you've had to have highs that you're like, man, this is great. And then you've also had to have your lows where you're like, how are things going to keep going? And maybe it's time to breathe better and let the
Yeah.
business be the business. But going through those, being a yoga instructor, I'm sure you were peaceful and calm and controlling your breathing the entire time. But what was that
I
like?
don't teach, you become a business owner and they don't like, no one like taught you how to deal with everything. You know what I mean? It's pretty wild. It's definitely a learning experience. I've had my own business for 20 years and there's highs and lows for sure. I think for especially aerial yoga, having those moments where I have taken away people's pain, or someone was not ever supposed to be able to walk and now they're walking, or I've helped them through their cancer, or reduced the curve on their scoliosis and they don't have to live in pain every single day. It is like so overwhelming to like, I never set out to do that. And now help change people's lives. I think that was something I didn't expect, but something that it feels like an honor. And I feel very grateful to be able to do that and help people. But it's really forced me to continue to learn and grow more. It kind of pushed me more into that of like, wow, why did that work so well? And if it works for them, could it work for other people? And I want everyone to feel this. And or a new client comes with new injuries or new issues, like, okay, I need to reach out to my friends that are the doctors or other physical therapists, and I need to study this more. I need to, as a teacher, I need to learn more so I can find more ways to support them. And so it's really continued to push me outside of my box, but in another way, push me into learning and growing and having the opportunity to help more and more people. My mother has Parkinson's, and I never thought like, oh, well, the aerial yoga hammock's going to help with Parkinson's, but it does. And being able to help her stop shaking was, again, this miracle of just so honored that she got to feel calm for a moment. But then it pushed me into like, okay, I got to get more research into this. I got to study this. I got to, and it's ended up teaching me a lot about the nervous system now, and, really helped me with those with MS and helped with injury recovery and helped with mindset. And so it's incredible that people have life-changing experiences with it. And there's no way I can stop because of that. It needs to be shared, and we need more people to learn how to do it because it has such a profound effect on people. And
So, kind of bringing to a point here a little bit. Part of me wants to say, if you could talk to your 20-year-old self again and be like, hey, this is what you should do, or this or that. I'm a firm believer in if I had a time machine and could go back and change things, I don't think I'd change a single thing because it's where I'm at now. And I'm grateful for where I'm at. Not that I didn't make mistakes, but to reframe the question instead of your 20-year-old self, you have another 20-year-old gymnast that you have the opportunity to speak to her or teach her or show her, or what would you say to the next coming up generation? How would you say, hey, how would I prepare you for this? And what would you say, focus on this above all things?
great question. I too believe like I couldn't say, oh, if I went back 20 years, I'd want to change anything because this is where I'm at. I mean, I have children too. I mean, who knows where it would, you can have a dream and go after it, and you can have that goal and you can meet that goal, but you don't get to choose that path of that road, either straight or wide. It's who knows what time it's going to get there for you. But for me, for that gymnast is, and I would say, I would hope that all athletes and all coaches could hear this too, not just that one gymnast, is especially those going for that high performance, that elite level. Integrating self care from a young age is important, and integrating mindset, like teaching them tools for self care. Self care for everybody is different. For some people, like a massage is really nice. Other people, they need to like just go run, or they need to go to the beach, right? Just paddle out and just be right there. So teaching or giving experiences or opportunities for people to learn self care methods. So if some people compete and they get nervous and they get super clear and focused, yeah, and other people compete and they get nervous and they're like all over the place, they can't think, right? So they need to learn some mindset. We need to learn techniques, not the like, oh, you're bad, you suck because your heart rate goes up. It's like, that's who you are, and let's learn how to enhance the positive things and work on some of the things that aren't going to help you and support you as an elite athlete. So helping them with the mindset, if that's something they need, learning self-care, and then individual body assessment. I'm born a little bit shorter. I have big bones. I develop muscle faster. Very lucky, less likely to get injured, less able to be flexible. That's a harder thing for me to get. Yeah. And like
Yeah.
just pushing me down, sitting on me is not proper. It's just going to take me longer. I have to be more consistent. I have to be a little bit slower than others. Those that have hypermobility in their joints, or have a lot of flexibility in their joints, or even Ehlers-Danlos, EDS, it's like they need to be trained differently. They need to strengthen the small ligaments and muscles around their joints to protect them from injury. So when you are stretching and conditioning your gymnast, you need to be doing it different for different people. And so assessing their bodies, and so we can create a curriculum that's safe for them long term and can prevent injury.
So the importance of taking care of yourself and being
Yeah,
able to read yourself.
and
But
teach that to the young
yeah,
ones. Like, people should be trained differently. And for gymnasts, how we do everything like twisted and compressed in the spine. That's so dangerous for the spine long term. So you need to counter that and condition the core in a different way and teach them how to lengthen and engage. They're the coaches in my generation, and it's slowly changing, but not for all the coaches. They just know the trick, but they don't actually know that that's an elite human being, that if you really want them to have longevity and really want them to be incredible, they have to be able to survive. And for
yeah.
gymnastics, especially, most of the people that were great, they never made it to college or the Olympics because they got injured. And they could have, in most cases, prevented that if the coaches had some body awareness and it was integrated and trained. The mind needs to be trained, the body needs to be trained, breath work needs to be integrated, and alignment and self-care need to be integrated, and physical therapy. So in all the sports, each sport should have different stretches depending on what that sport. When I have clients that come in that are elite athletes and they have pain, I can already see what kind of athlete they are by how they're developed. Or if they tell me what sport they're doing, I already know where we're going to be tight, where we're going to have tendencies for injuries dependent on that sport. And so for me, just in the athletic world, because you said the gymnast, I just really want to enhance the gymnastics world by integrating some self-care, and then also integrating mindset sooner than later, and taking ownership, competing with yourself, learning that when you are young so you can enjoy competition and not fear it and not let it get to you, emotionally. For some, they love competition, while others, it's a bit of trauma.
Let me end with one more question, a different angle, not the elite athlete, not the hyper competitive. In my mind, probably one of the most difficult jobs anyone can have what would you say to like a mother with a few little kids running around and hey, life gets overwhelming and now you got these little ones hollering at you all the time and just how would you say, hey, what you learned spinning around, going up and down in the yoga, the pose, the gymnastics, all of that, but to the mom that needing to do more, but yeah, what would you say to her?
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously, you can't be a great mom unless you love yourself. And taking some time without too much time where you're like, now I have mom guilt or something, but taking a little bit of
Yeah.
time to breathe and be with yourself. I do believe that some sort of physical movement, whether it's some stretching or just turning on Madonna song and dancing like crazy, to it. Um,
Uh,
or going for a walk on the beach, something physical really can make you feel good. And so taking some time and finding community, as much as it's how challenging it is when you are a mother and you have children, to also take time for yourself to do something maybe physical or breathe or take a bath or write in your journal, but then also to have like go out with your friends or go see them. It's a challenge, but trying to stay connected to one or two people, whether it's phone calls, texting, or meeting once a month, or just inviting them over and you guys all fold laundry together for all it matters. You know what I mean? Just being able to have someone that you can really be free and open with is really important. Whatever, it's a man or woman or just a new friend and you want to befriend them. But I think having that community, but someone just to verbalize to. And then you do have to figure out like, what do I like? What do I love? Like, I love my children. I love being a mom, but knowing and yourself a little bit more, taking that time, like, wait, do I really like going for a run every day? Or am I just trying to lose weight? Is that what makes me feel good or not? Like, really being able to tune into your body sensations, tune into your feelings, tune into your heart, listen in and learn to trust it and feel it and learn from it. And the more that you can tune in, you're going to know when you're overwhelmed, when you need to take a little break and do some self-care. When you're really happy, you can just take time to be in the moment and feel a bit of gratitude and enjoyment that you have the kids. I feel like that kind of self-love is super, super important that we forget about. And finding your own self-care, like that took me a long time to figure out. Like, I didn't know what really made me feel good. I needed to experience different things and try different things. So I would have like a go-to. And if they're a new mom and a young mom and they have young kids, it's the greatest time of your life. It might feel like the hardest, the busiest, and it is the hardest, the craziest, the busiest, but it's the
yes.
greatest time of your life and you never get it back. So, in every moment, every day, if you can take at least 5 minutes of gratitude. And even if you can't, like, day was crap, I don't know, like, I'm lucky I still got to wake up. I'm lucky that I found both socks in the dryer. You know what I mean? Like, anything. I'm lucky I remembered to do this today. Like, I'm lucky I could swallow when I took a drink of water. Like, seriously, sometimes it's hard and other times it's like easier, but it changes your mindset to where you're seeing and saying and thinking positive. And the more that you do that, the more that you will see the beauty in this life and in this world and in your days.
Very cool. I immensely have enjoyed this conversation. I've enjoyed hearing the story that you've been through and just your passion for teaching people. You are clearly a high achiever and have done some amazing things. But I feel like you'd also say your greatest accomplishments are probably more on the quiet moments of teaching people. So I appreciate your time here. I
Mhm.
thank you for this opportunity to chat with you.
Thank
If
you.
anybody wanted to reach out to you, if you wanted to plug the AIReal yoga or anything like that,
Please
yeah,
do. I mean, thank you. I mean, thank you for letting me share. Thank you for listening to me. I really appreciate it. My greatest moments are teaching. It's where I'm my highest self. And yeah, if they want to learn more, please do. I always make myself available. The brand is AIRealYoga.com. And you can also reach me at Carmen at AIRealYoga.com. And I'm sure I can email you and send you it so you can put on the podcast so they can see it. But yeah, as a teacher, I want to continue to grow and share. So I'd love to hear from anyone that would love more information.
Very cool. Thank you very much.